Welcome back to Double Al. My name's Al. We're here with the other Al. No guest this week, and as you can see by our attire, this week is casual week. Oh yeah, we do have a
We do
guest.
have one guest. We have Jack Hirsch on the show this week.
Football
Yeah, actually,
superstar.
funny enough, you can see not only Jack's athletic achievements, but you can see maybe up there you can see Daniel. Yeah, you should be able to see his name. He's the that was from one of his record-setting times at in swimming. So I'm surrounded by my brother's athletic achievements and
Yeah,
not mine.
and on is it on the other wall that your achievements are on?
Uh, well, hold on. If you let me leave the picture here real quick.
Okay,
We do have,
he's going to get his athletic achievement.
yeah, my athletic achievement is my uh, Pinewood Derby car from,
Yes, the Hokey Pokey ice cream car.
yeah, it was, I think it actually did pretty well because of the way it was weighted. I didn't win anything, but it did pretty well.
Yeah, that's good enough.
It's good enough. Today is brought to you by, for me, both, as always, good old Angry Orchard, not as always, but as usual, and some good Seagram's Escapes Italian Ice.
You need both after this week.
I do need both after this week very badly.
White Claw watermelon. It's not very good, but it's what I have in stock.
It's all right. I've had it. It's decent.
All right, let's get your game out of the way.
I
Let's
don't want to.
let's tear that down. Tell us what happened.
Well, before we do anything when it comes to my game, I have to do this.
Holy cow!
Yeah, so lost to Anthony by nearly 60 points. Kicked me out of the playoff picture. So, yeah, I guess we can go through. Justin Herbert had a great game for the Chargers, but it just didn't translate. I mean, 24 is not bad, but it didn't translate to fantasy as well as I would have liked. Zeke, less than 10 again. Jeff Wilson was an emergency option. I picked him up like a day before the games because all the rest of my running backs were hurt. He didn't do well. DK, I could have used that 8.3 a few weeks ago. I would be in the playoffs right now if he did, but alas. Debo Samuel even had a very average game. Kelsey, again, was bad. And let's just remember who I spent my first round pick on was Travis Kelsey. So Jamison Crowder, less than 5. Panthers defense 2 points. Tyler Bass 9. So just an overall bad performance.
I gotta say, are you glad that you're out now rather than having a tight playoff game like last year where you lost
Nope.
by a point? No, you'd
No,
rather be in the
no,
playoffs.
I'd rather be in the playoffs for sure, especially after trading my second round pick for Ezekiel Elliott. That was supposed to be for the playoffs. That was supposed to make my team one of the best in the league. I had no idea at the time that I would even it was even a possibility that I would miss the playoffs. Uh, yeah,
And we go back to 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when you were playing Joey and you lost by .7.
yep, because DK Metcalf only had 2.3 points.
Not great.
Not great. No. It's never a good sign when your entire team, no one person on your team can score more than your opponent's defense. But that's what happened. And Anthony had some really good performances from a lot of people on his team. I'm so happy for Anthony that the 49ers stopped using Debo Samuel as a receiver as much and started throwing a lot more to Brandon Ayuk again like they did last year. I'm very happy for Anthony. I'm so glad that transpired. Yeah, besides that, he just had some very solid games from most of his players. Cole Kmet and I might have butchered that name, I don't know. And Kenny Galladay both had bad performances. But besides that, and I mean, Kirk Cousins wasn't a great performance, but for Anthony, that's a team, and we're going to talk about the ladder tournament in a sec, but that's a team that you don't want to go up against in the ladder tournament for sure for the Griff.
No, for last place. the secondary tournament we got going on, the ladder tournament. So thank you for playing football with us this year. We appreciate it, and we will see you next year.
It's so bad. It hurts so bad.
It's
I
been
really
fun.
thought I was going to be fighting in the playoffs this year, and
Yeah,
my
four
team
losses
fell
in a
apart.
row is what
4 in a row.
did it in for you.
Yeah, I was winning the division 4 weeks ago, and now I'm third in the division. I don't know what happened with my team. The Seahawks woes on offense. Russell Wilson just not throwing the ball to DK as much. Russell Wilson struggling after his broken finger. Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys started handing the ball off to Tony Pollard a lot more, which was right around the time that I made that trade. So, yeah, injuries. That injury to Darrell Henderson certainly did not help me. Debo has been doing great all year. This was just one not great week. Travis Kelce has been terrible all year, as at least as far as first round pick material goes. He's been terrible. Jamison Crowder was also a emergency start. The Panthers defense has done better, and Tyler Bass has been pretty good all year. But, my team just fell apart in the last 4 weeks, and I ended up losing 4 straight.
Yeah, I think you're in a great spot for the ladder tournament.
I disagree.
I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay. And on the other side, we have a team that did make it into the playoffs with a victory this week. It was Ryan. He won in. I believe Ryan started the season 1-5, and
Yes,
ended
he
up
did.
getting into the playoffs, which is very impressive. So good job to Ryan.
He at one point had a 1% chance of making the playoffs, as
I forgot about that. That's incredible.
as compared to my 99%. We were making jokes about how it was only 1% because ESPN couldn't logically give him 0%. And you know what? That's what I get for making jokes. I also, if you go back to the last slide real quick, I don't know if our viewers remember, but I referred to playing against Anthony a few weeks ago as the Anthony bye week.
Yep.
And
it came to bite you in the butt.
I did end up beating him that week, but it really it came back to bite me, and fate is cruel that way. So
Fate is cruel.
yeah, I guess I'm getting my comeuppance for all of the bad things I've said about teams on this show.
I guess so. Looking at Zane's team, he is situated in the last game in the ladder tournament. Scoring 115 is pretty mediocre. I wonder where he's going to end up in this ladder tournament. I'd say he's one of the favorites for being in the Griff Bowl. I don't know if he's the favorite to win it. But Ryan, into the playoffs, doesn't have a bye week. He just barely squeaked his way in. He will be playing Joey this week. He'll be playing Joey, which is going to be a tough game, as we'll get to a little later. Joey's team is doing very well, so that'll be an interesting game to watch. Just mind farted on who Ryan was playing in the first round of the playoffs. Getting into another team that squeaked their way in, it was Ian versus Dom, another playoff team. Ian had no business squeaking his way in with the amount of points he's had this season, but he also has had such a high amount of points against him that he's had some unfortunate losses. But thankfully, for his sake, he made it into the playoffs, and he's changed his team name on ESPN. Once again, this program is brought to you by ESPN Fantasy Football. Fantastic service, but he's changed his name to I've Made It in the Playoffs, or something of that sort.
One could argue that ESPN Fantasy is very similar to Yahoo Fantasy. Some people could say that. But I think true individuals, true fans of fantasy football understand that the UI on ESPN is just infinitely better. The UI on
we have some
Yahoo,
experts. We have some experts in the league, and they agree.
Indeed, our production intern. Now, I hesitate to call him an expert in just about anything, but he is adamant that his major has a lot to do. His major in college, that is, has a lot to do with user interface and stuff like that. So whenever we bring up Yahoo Sports, he he's like, you know what? That's my major. That's what I do. And you know what? You guys can say whatever you want. You could say, oh, they're basically the same app, just different colors. But Joey's going to go, no, you know what? What you don't understand is that they're not the same app. It's actually very different. And as you can see, the green of the ESPN makes a lot better of a user interface than the purple of Yahoo Sports. And that's, you know what? I got to say, he might be right on that one.
He might be right. I'm no I'm no weather major, but if I told a weather major the sky was purple, they might laugh at me and say it's blue. You're just wrong, and I might not know the difference. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Exactly. Exactly. So, you know what? We will never question the new media major on user interface again. I know, you know what? I might just have to come out and say it. He thinks Apple Music is better. It might be. I think it
No,
might be
that's
better than Spotify.
I won't allow that on this program. I won't allow
Oh
that.
yeah, that's true. That's
Spotify
just
is just far
utter
far
crap.
superior in terms of
Sorry, that's right.
everything. It's just
Yeah.
a much better way to listen to music. That's a little off topic. Apologies. Back
Sorry,
to
yeah, we
Ian's
kind of,
game.
you know,
Tom Brady had a really good game. Uh, Dalton Schultz did not. 1.4. What happened there?
I don't know. They must just not have thrown it to him as much. Maybe he got hurt. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Really in-depth analysis.
I know. Sorry, I'm eating blueberry. It's casual week. I'm a little
It's
hungry.
casual week.
I'm quite parched. I need my White Claw
I'm
and
running.
blueberries.
I'm running pretty hot right now. You know, not making the playoffs, so I'm running pretty hot.
Well, at least you showed up to Double L this week. That says a lot about your character to show your face. And,
Yeah, I can't. You know what? Because if I don't show up to Double L, that means they win.
that's
So
true. They win. One of
I
those
got to show
days
up.
being Devin. He's in the playoffs. Had a fantastic game this week. Owen did not start a tight end this week, and his running back David Johnson did not start the game. And Jake Elliott also did not start the game. Is it because they had a bye? Yes, they had a bye week. So Owen playing three players that didn't play.
Yeah.
It seems as if he's thrown his cards in before the match even started.
Yeah. I think Devin needed to beat Joey by more than 13 points. He needed to top Joey's score by more than 13 to get that second seed in the first round bye, and he accomplished his goal.
Assuming Joey won the game, but Joey did not win his game.
That's true. Joey lost. I forgot about that. So it's
But he
all
did.
it's a moot point.
Yeah, it's a mute point, but he did get that goal.
Yep.
Devin's team looks very dangerous.
They do
If you
look
look
quite
if you
dangerous.
if you look down his lineup, it's just heavy hitters the whole way for fantasy, and that's very scary. He's going to be quite the threat in the playoffs.
Yeah. Um,
It's been a while since Devin has won the league. He's never had the trophy. As you can see here, this beautiful trophy. It doesn't have his name on the bottom because he never got it. But
yeah.
but he did win the first year. So it's been a while.
Yeah, he won when we were like a 6-team league, so I think there's a bit of an asterisk next to that one.
Yeah, 6 to 8 teams, whatever it was.
So he won, but nobody really holds that championship in any sort of legitimacy. What is legitimate is his team. Great performance from him this week. You know, we have a lot of really good heavy hitting teams in the playoffs this year. So the way my team's been playing, I mean, the only thing I delayed was an inevitable first round loss the way my team's been playing. But, you know, we've got a lot of really good teams in the playoffs that are putting up a lot of points.
I
And
agree. I put
that
Devin in the
is,
top 2 teams.
well, he is one of the top 2 teams. So that's great analysis from you there.
Well, I am the top team, but I don't put myself as the top team in the playoffs. I put
And
Ian
then
and Devin as the top 2.
they are certainly scary teams.
And we can
Then
talk about
Owen,
that a little later as well.
yeah, Owen, we've talked about. You know, not a great game. He already knew he wasn't going to make the playoffs. So he did have a very small chance, but it was a very small chance, and he decided to throw. Didn't start a tight end. Started 2 people who didn't play. So
And his defense got -4.
his defense did get -4. So he's a team that is currently on the decline going into the ladder tournament, much like my own. But his score this week is not indicative of how good his team is or how his team will perform in the ladder tournament, because we have to assume that Owen does not want to be put in a dog cage for an entire Nicolas Cage movie and thrown condiments at. So we have to assume is going to set his lineup, and that his score might look very different from this.
For his sake, I hope so.
Me too. But for my sake, I hope not.
So Joey needed to win this game in order to have that bye week, and he did not. And he chalks that entirely up to the fact that Lamar Jackson put up 1.18 before he made an exit from the game with an injury. Mm-hmm. The Bills also scored -4, which did not help. Cooper Kupp came on Monday night with 31.3 to try and get him to that victory, but it could not happen. Regardless, he is in the playoffs, and he does have to play this upcoming weekend, but he is in a good spot. Bobby puts up a nice score, and although he's in the bottom of the ladder tournament of sadness, as we'll see, that's a pretty good score going into that tournament. I don't have much analysis for this game other than Joey blew it.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Joey has a propensity for, well, do I have to say it? I think we all understand.
Alrighty. On that fun note, we will move on to the final game that happened this weekend. I quietly put up the highest score, and Jeff lost, making him not make the playoffs. James Robinson only put up 0.4, but even if he put up a little bit more, I put up a really high score. The way I see this is I might have beat him in the playoffs anyway if we ever came to each other, so I'm gonna say this is a pretty good matchup.
Starting two Bengals wide receivers was a bold choice that ended up working out for you. The Bengals had a decent game against the 49ers, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were both a big part of that game. So
I have some injuries, so
that I figured as much. But T. Higgins had a good game. Chase had a good game.
I'm happy to put
Dalvin
up
had a great game
when I have some injuries.
Yeah, Dalvin had a great game.
Dalvin had a very good game. The first 200-yard rushing game of the year in the NFL, so that's fantastic. Dalvin Cook is the 4th highest rusher in the league this year, I believe, and he has missed so many games. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then Jeff's team, Taysom Hill had a weirdly high amount of points for the fact that it was Taysom Hill. Cordero Patterson had a decent game. CeeDee Lamb, decent. Devontae Adams had a really good game, and Mark Andrews had a really good game. So 139 is not a score to sneeze at. So I imagine Jeff is rather unhappy at the moment that he missed the playoffs after a performance like that, but he just ran into a team that got hot at the right time.
Yeah, and I assume he'll get a win in this ladder tournament, and since he's in the top of it, he will likely not end up with the Griff. That's good for him. The highs and lows of this week, yours truly coming in with the high. I don't know if that's happened yet this year, so
I don't believe it has.
I'm happy about that. Owen getting the low. I think that has happened this year. Sorry, Owen.
Yes, it has.
Me too. I more than double his score, so that's nice.
It's true. Almost got him by 100.
Here it is, the playoffs. You can see Allen down there tied with wins with Ian and Ryan, but not enough points for. The only person in the playoffs with less points for than Allen is Dom, but also Jeff had way more points for than you, and he didn't make it either. So you got to play the game. Those 6 teams in the playoffs are Alex, Devin, Joey, Dom, Ian, and Ryan. Alex and Devin will be enjoying bye weeks. Joey will be taking on Ryan, and Dom will be playing Ian this upcoming weekend. if you look at the points for, Devin and Joey were only about a point. These are rounded, a little more than a point off from each other, so they had a very similar season. And Ian had the most points by actually not that much more than Devin and Joey. Now that I look at it, they got pretty close by the end, but Ian had the most points pretty much throughout the entire season. Alan's backing up, getting away a little bit lower in his chair, and that's because he did not make the playoffs. He's a little disappointed. On the bright side, Alan, you are on the top of the losers tournament. It is unlikely you will finish last place this year. So come back.
Sitting on an exercise ball made that harder to come back up.
Well, it's easier to sit back up from an exercise ball than it is to get back into the playoffs after you've lost. It's impossible. You're out. You're done for the year. Sorry. That was super impressive earlier when you just chugged that entire Seagram's.
Pain.
Any other comments on teams that made it or teams that didn't? No?
I had a reverse of last year. Last year my team was looking no good. I pulled a Ryan last year. Ryan this year did what I did last year.
Yeah.
This year I did an opposite. My team started off really well. I was looking great, and then all my players seemingly at the same time, for one reason or another, just stop putting up as many points, whether that be another person at their position on that team getting more targets or just like a struggling offense or what. Seemingly all my players at the same time just kind of stopped performing, which is why I'm genuinely worried about this ladder tournament, because all of Jeff, Anthony, Bobby, and Zane all put up higher scores than me this week, and Owen very well could have if he had started everybody. So I am a little bit afraid of this ladder tournament.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that. I'd like to let it be known, before the season started, I predicted Dom would make it into the playoffs, and here he is. So that's all I got going for me. I also have the most wins this year and haven't lost a game in 9 weeks, so I also have that going for me. We'll move on. In the divisional winners, congrats to Devin and Joey for winning their respective divisions. Alan, I'm sorry you didn't get that division win. A game off and a few hundred points. But Devin and Dom's division was close, so good job to Devin. That wasn't clinched up until this weekend. And good job to Joey. And I already knew I won the division, but I guess good job to myself as well.
4 weeks ago, I was 0.7 points away from taking a 2-game lead over Joey in our division. And now, a few weeks later, here we are with me sitting in third at the end of the regular season, missing the playoffs, and in pain, just in immense pain.
Yeah, and someone pointed out earlier today that 2 teams from each division made it in, so that's pretty nice. That's even. Nice and fair.
Even.
Nice.
I also forgot, speaking of people saying things, I'm pretty sure it was Ian. I have a statement to read from Ian.
Okay.
If I can find it here. Yes, okay. This is my statement for Double Al. Quote, "This is an amazing moment in my life. First time in the playoffs. I'd firstly like to thank everyone who made trades with me, in parentheses, Zane and Devin. I'd also like to thank Joey for not making a trade with me because I would have lost one of my running backs for Calvin Ridley. Another shout out goes to DK Metcalf, getting 1 catch in week 12. My team has gone through ups and downs, but we managed to make it out. Now that I'm no longer in the running for the Griff, I just want to know that I will be pouring a whole jar of mayo on loser."
Ooh. That adds
Unquote.
some stakes. All right. That's fun to know. That's a nicely put statement. I think that's the first time Devin's gotten some praise on this show. Good for
I
Devin.
believe it is.
We are unreasonably hard on him. All right, and the highest scorers of the week. Speaking of Devin, Josh Allen put up the highest score for a quarterback at 35.22. Running back, I'm very happy, very glad Dalvin Cook put up 35 points, the highest running back of the week. Devontae Adams at 34.10. George Kittle apparently also got 34.10, so that's nice. That's the second week in a row George Kittle put up the highest score in the league. And the kicker that had the highest score this week was Prater at 15, and highest scoring defense was Kansas City. Scores may not be representative of the...
What?
Oh
What is
my
that?
gosh. The production intern didn't have the will in his system to make sure these scores actually matched what happens in our league. Okay, so here's a little background. Our league scores kickers and defenses differently than regular PPR does. And so he just wrote on the bottom of the screen instead of saying, instead of fixing the scores, he said scores might not be representative.
I'm sick of this. You know what? I'm so mad right now. I'm sick of this lack of effort that our production
That's just
intern
crazy.
is
He
putting into
couldn't
things.
spend the 2 extra minutes to go
This
through
is
and do that.
utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous.
I might start making these slides.
We might have to. He has been absolutely putting in zero effort, consistent mistakes being made, and he goes and he has to talk about how this like type of stuff is his major. This is what his major is working for, and he's just blowing it.
I guess they taught him in the 101 of his major, very first class. If too hard, right on bottom, not representative.
Yeah, probably. I would imagine maybe that's how that RIT education is. That Rochester Institute of Technology
Wow,
education.
name dropping his institution.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And here are
Because
the
I think
matchups.
it's time that they look at their standards of education there and realize that if they can't teach Joseph Douglas Brucey, that he can put in a little bit of effort, a little more than just writing in a parentheses at the bottom of the slide. If they can't teach that, I don't know what they can teach. I just don't know.
I don't know, and they can't play hockey either.
They can't do anything.
Well, Rochester did hit.
They need a couple of coaches from the great Bowling Green State University in order to make their hockey team even a little bit relevant.
Rochester hit their highest homicide rate in quite a few decades. That's what they got going for them.
You know what? I have to say, I think it might be Joey's fault. That might be his fault too. I'm sorry. I don't want to have to say it.
Double Al's not going to put a position out there on that claim, but the individual contributors can say whatever they want.
I think Joey has single-handedly raised the homicide rate of Rochester.
That's the best quote this show's had in the 14 weeks of its existence.
Thank you. I'm running hot. I told you I'm running hot this episode.
Speaking of those amazing graphic skills, here's a Google image 6-team tournament chart with some word art on it of our names.
Yeah, great. More just wonderful effort from Joseph Brucey. I'm just loving it. I'm loving the fact that we can get just a little bit of effort going.
Anyway, Dom's playing Ian this weekend. Joey's playing Ryan. And Devin and I are going to put our feet up and enjoy it. I'm going to put my prediction out there. I think Ian's going to win. I think Joey's going to win. I think Ian's going to the championship. I think Joey's going to the championship. I think Ian's going to be the champion. That's my prediction right now. What about you?
I would say I have Ian beating Dom, Joey beating Ryan, Devin beating Joey, Ian beating you, and then Ian beating Devin in
All
the
right.
championship.
We have our favorite. It is Ian, the double L,
Ian.
certified favorite. Let's take a quick look at our playoff predictions from
I don't want to.
just 5 weeks ago.
I don't want to.
Some things wrong with my playoff prediction. Jeff and Alan are here. I did get Devin having the bye week right, but I put Joey having a bye week. That was wrong.
Bye
I still
week?
think,
Byrie Hill.
yeah, bye week Hill. I still think Joey's going to make it to the Sriram Bowl. I do not think Alan's going to make it to the Sriram Bowl, considering the fact he is not in the playoffs. I still have the prediction that I'm not going to win a playoff game on here. I'd love to. I would love to win a playoff game. I don't know if it's going to happen. Now, Alan, let's take a look at yours. Wow, so accurate. You do
You
have
have to
you do have Ian here.
understand.
You do
My
have Ian here,
team
but you have
was
Owen in
playing
there as well.
so much better at the time, and I was in a great spot when
Where's
we
Ryan?
made these predictions.
Where's Ryan?
Ryan was not in the frame of relevance
No, he
5
wasn't.
weeks ago or whenever we made these. I made a lot of mistakes. Okay, let's say it how it is. I included myself and I included Owen, who didn't win. I had myself going far
Into the all the way to
into
the
the
Sugar Rumble.
championship.
Crazy. You still have Ian winning, which was in your prediction.
Yep. So, you know what? It was a different time. All right. I had a great team. I was tied for first in the division. Everything was looking good. Ryan was irrelevant at the time. Owen was barely hanging on. And, a lot can happen in 5 weeks, and a lot did happen.
Back to your prediction of the playoffs. Is it out of spite you have Devin beating Joey?
No.
Devin has a hot team. I might put Devin in the finals.
Devin has a good team. We saw this week that he has the ability to put up a lot of points.
Devin did put up a lot. I'm going to change my prediction. Ian Devin in the Sri Rumble.
That being said, I do have a very strong dislike of Joseph Brucey. I'm sorry.
Is it because you're in the ladder of sadness?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the ladder of sadness right here. You are at the top of the ladder of sadness. And the last place you want to be is that green box. That green box is the Griff Bowl. But if you win one game, it's mathematically not possible for you to get the Griff. So just got to win one game these next 3 weeks. The top game in the ladder tournament is Alan and Jeff. Second game is Anthony and Owen. Third game is Bobby and Zane. The way a ladder tournament works is just like any old ladder tournament would work. If you win, you go up. If you lose, you go down the ladder. If you're at the bottom and you lose, you stay right there. If you're at the top and you win, you stay at the top. Jeff's a pretty hard team to beat, but yeah, I'm gonna predict Jeff wins against you in week 15. Sorry about that. And but I think you could get a week 16 win pretty easily against one of them Helkies. Anthony Owen, predicting Anthony wins that. And Bobby Zane, Bobby's going to win that.
For the first time in the history of the show, I'm going to... this is legitimate. I genuinely don't think I'm going to win this week.
You lost the last 4 weeks, so that's not a bad prediction.
I've lost the last 4. My team is playing terrible. So I genuinely think I'm losing this week. I also think Owen is going to lose, and I do think that Zane is going to lose.
Wow. So who do you think's going to be in the Griff Bowl, that green box of shame over there?
I would say the Griff Bowl is going to be between Owen and myself.
Wow. Okay, so you think...
I genuinely have zero confidence in my team to beat anybody right now. I'm genuinely afraid that I might lose. Like, I might get the
You
Griff.
think that you're going to lose out? You think you're going to lose 7 weeks in a row?
I'm definitely not trying to, and I'm going to do everything I can to not. However, my team has been playing so terribly that I have zero confidence in them.
Okay. On that sour note, I don't even know what to say after that. I don't think you're gonna make it to the Griff Bowl. I think it's gonna be Owen, and I think it's gonna be Zane. That's my prediction. I think Zane's gonna lose this week, lose in week 16, and I think Owen's gonna lose. Wait, does that even make sense? No, I don't. Is that even a possible? I might have to rethink this. It might be a Bobby. Might be a Bobby Owen Griff Bowl. But yeah, I'll just stick with Bobby Owen right now. Who knows?
Even though you had Bobby winning this week.
Yeah, but then he's going to have to go against you or Jeff.
Oh, true.
That's an interesting strategy from the bottom of the ladder. Do you lose on purpose in week 15 in order to have an easier week 16 game?
Perhaps.
That's something they have to consider.
Maybe the Mahelkis will just go with the kicker bowl again and let that decide it.
They might, because if you're in the second strung of the ladder, you're playing either Allen or Jeff.
Could we perhaps see a defense bowl this week?
Will we see Double Al would love to see a defense bowl.
Yeah. If one team, you know what? I'm going to say it right now. If the two teams in contention for the Shriram have a defense bowl, then that might be the greatest thing we've ever seen. And if you don't, then that makes you a certified baby boy.
A kindergarten baby.
Yeah, a little kindergarten baby. If both teams who are in the Griff Championship, the Shriram Championship, don't only play their defense, that makes you a little kindergarten baby boy.
The Shriram? Mm-hmm. For this? You want people to play only defenses for this thing?
That's what I'm saying.
That's not going to
I'm not saying that people have to comply.
They're
I'm just saying
going
I
to be
will refer to you as a little kindergarten baby boy.
10-ply kindergarten baby boys. I think that's what they're going to be.
Yep.
Alrighty. Thank you for your input. I'd like to apologize to the audience for Alan's general bitterness and sadness this week. It's just because his.
I would also like to apologize to the audience for it. I'm upset. I'm in pain, and I took it out with my words.
It was funny though. I liked it. Some good discussion this week. I feel like we were civil. I feel like it never went over the edge, and that's what you like to see from a program like this. Make sure comment the video and like the video. YouTube got rid of dislikes. That was per our request. We actually reached out to Mr. YouTube and said, we got a dislike once, and I know who it was. I know who disliked the video, and I said, you got to get rid of dislikes on every single video. It was
probably, I have a guess. I don't actually know who it was, but I'm guessing that it was Lauren Elder.
It wasn't. No, she's very adamant to like these the second they come out.
Ah, understandable.
It was another one of our lady friends who decided to put a dislike on the video.
It was probably for how much eggnog I had that week.
That was disgusting. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. This has been Double Al. You got anything else to say?
New Eli picture.
He looks lovely.
He looks like he just beat Tom Brady.
Can you give me that face?
Let's see.
It's pretty accurate. All right. This has been Double Al. Thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe the video. You know what to do. It's playoff seasons, baby.
Ow, I'm out.